Okay, good evening to all students and teachers alike. Today, me and my group will be presenting about an activity that our group developed for an early assignment before this regarding an activity to improve students' language skills in English. So our group has decided to do a demonstration of an activity that will help students improve their speaking skills in class. So this activity will be aimed at Form 1 students, and this activity is based on the textbook that is used in the syllabus for Form 1 students in the English subject. So first things first, the teacher will have prepared a dialogue for the students to read consisting of two people. So next, the teacher will have the students pair up with their classmates, and for starters, before after they have gone into their pairs, the students would read the entire dialogue first, and then after a few minutes of reading, the teacher would call a random pair to go in front of the class and act out the dialogue and speak as if it's a real conversation about the topic from the textbook. So, Haziq, we can click the start button for the dialogues.
So thank you, Hafiz, for the explanation, and I want to add more. So this activity is for our students to be able to speak in front of the class, and we want to see their pronunciations, their intonations, and expressions, and also they want to build their confidence speaking in English in front of classes. So the reason why this activity is very simple is because our targeted student is around Form 1 and Form 2 students. So we doesn't want them to feel anxious and scared to speak English in front of others. So let's get started. So as you can see over here, there are two people that in engage in conversations. So this is the dialogues, and students can read through this dialogue and repeat. They can practice among their peers. After that, we can call their random pairs, and they will demonstrate how they engage this conversation in front of others. As you can see over here, this topic is about life on Earth, so it's referred to the uh, syllabus based on the textbook.
Okay, so the activity is really simple and it's more like an activity that is used to. Oh, yeah. Oh, you won. So by the end of the activity, it's more like to reinforce what the students have learned throughout the learning session of that specific topic through speaking. So the students can remember information better after they talk about that specific topic. So not only it improves their speaking, but it can also make them retain information better regarding a specific topic. So that is the end of our activity. It's a really simple activity, and uh, I think all that's left is to collect your opinions about the activity and what do you think personally as a student if your teacher does a similar activity in class.
We have provided the link for the Google Doc for the feedback. We will appreciate if you guys can fill the Google form. Thank you.
For the student feedback, we have created a Google form that asks 5 questions to the students in order to gain their feedback. The first question that we ask is number 1. On a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate this activity? 57.1 respondent answered at very good, while 42.9% answered at good. This shows that this activity shows promising quality and is able to be used in the classroom with some improvement. And then for question 2, we ask another skill question, which is on a scale of 1 to 5, how fun is the activity? For this question, 57.1% of respondents considered our activity to be very fun, while 28.6% respondent was neutral to the activity, and finally, there was 14.3% of respondents believing that our activity is very boring. Perhaps this individual feels that the activity is boring because it cannot gain the attraction because they do not relate to activity. To remedy this, we might have to adjust the activity so it caters to more type of learners, such as maybe adding an audio track or images to the activity, so it caters to more type of learners such as visual and auditory learners. And then question 3, we ask them a question on a scale of 1 to 5. Does the activity provide students with an opportunity to improve their speaking skill? 60% of students answered at 5, which is very much, while 20% answered at a lot, and another 20% answered at neutral. From the result obtained, it can be seen that 80% of the respondents believe that our activity does provide a lot of opportunity to improve their speaking skills, while there's 20 which believe that it only provide just a right amount, not a lot of opportunity to improve their speaking skills. For question 4, we ask them a yes or no question on whether they think that our activity can improve their own speaking skills personally. Uh, all respondents believe that the activity can help them improve their own speaking skills if the teachers were to use it in their classroom. This shows that the activity is very very effective, or the respondent believe that it is effective. And finally, for question 5, we ask the students how they think what they think can be done to improve the activity. We receive 6 responses for this part. On 2 of the respondents did not answer what we asked, while 2 individuals suggested that we add pictures to the activity, and 2 more respondents asked us to make it more interesting and make it more interactive for the students, so they are more interested and engaged in the classroom in the activity. We have taken this consideration to improve our activity, and we'll elaborate it more on the uh, improvement.
Now, here are 3 suggestions and improvement that can be done to our activity. One of them is adding a minigame. A minigame that should be suitable for this activity would be mystery box, where the students will be passing around from one to another to decide how they will be acting out their dialogue, like whether they need to act it out in a restaurant or maybe they need to act it out like their best friends, those kind of things. This in turn ties into the other 2 improvement, that is giving students more interactivity and making the activity more engaging. The increased interactivity will allow the students to be more involved in the activity because they need to make more decisions on what they want to do, like maybe giving them the opportunity to select between certain dialogues, or making them actually have to do a bit of improv to their own dialogues, so they need to actually think about what they actually want to do. And the last improvement is making it more engaging, which is obvious because students that are not engaged in the lesson would not get the full benefit of it. Thus, the teacher should make it a lot more fascinating, a lot more cool, like adding in more music, adding in more pictures, or maybe even like suddenly just have some sort of guest appearance. That way, the students would be a lot more engaged in the activity.
So now for the teacher's feedback. So this feedback is for my Muay teacher when I was form 6. So she said that our activity is good and simple. Also, she said that our activity is very suitable for our target student, as our target student is around Form 1 and Form 2 students. So they have the very low proficiency in English. So the fact that our activity is simple and also engaging is attract them to speak English and also make them feel less anxious and stressed to speak in front of others. So, and she also said that our activity is actually help them to express their intonation, express their expressions. Also, they can learn a few new vocabulary, and it also helps them to practice their speaking skills and so on, so that they can engage the real life conversations. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Now, talking about the second teacher's feedback, I received that the teacher said that I would need to be clear about the student's level for the lesson and whether or not I provided speaking phrases for the students beforehand. So the second teacher emphasized that my activity needs to have prepared phrases by the teacher to help the students engage in those conversations because Form 1 students are not that familiar with speaking in English often. And having those phrases can help them engage in actual conversations easier and makes it less threatening to speak in English with other people. The second teacher also said that those speaking phrases need to be suitable for their level. So for former students, the teacher would need to be aware about what words that can be used in those speaking phrases before preparing them for the students for this particular activity. So this activity, in hindsight, actually did not give any prepared phrases or did not consider giving easier words for the students to pronounce and add to the fact that the objective of the activity is not that measurable. As mentioned in an earlier slide, the objective of the activity is not something that easy to measure, which is the student's confidence and the student's pronunciation of the words, because in speaking skills for Form 1 students, the second teacher recommended that this activity would prepare actual thought out phrases for the students to use in their conversation for the activity. And that concludes our teacher feedback section. Thank you.